Welcome back, everyone. Tonight's story takes us far from the noisy cities, into the quiet countryside, where shadows seem longer and silence feels heavier. This is the tale of a house that was never meant to exist. They call it the house with no doors. There was a young couple, Emma and Daniel, searching for their first home together. They had been driving for hours when they spotted it. At the end of a long, cracked road stood a mansion. Tall, dark, yet strangely beautiful. Its windows glimmered in the late afternoon sun, though the glass seemed almost too clean. The realtor never mentioned this house in the listings, but when they stopped, they saw a for sale sign planted firmly in the weeds. Curious, they walked closer. Something about the house pulled them in. The walls were aged stone, the roof steep and sharp, with ivy crawling up like veins. But the strangest part was this. There were no doors, no front entrance, no back door, just solid walls. Emma frowned. How do we even get in? Daniel laughed nervously. Maybe it's just around the side. But no matter where they circled, there was no door. And yet, when they turned the corner again, Emma gasped. A door had appeared, wooden, old, waiting. Without a word, they entered. Inside, the house smelled of cedar and dust. The air was heavy, like the rooms hadn't been touched in years. A grand chandelier hung above them, though none of its bulbs worked. The wallpaper was peeling, curling back in shapes that looked eerily like faces. Emma whispered, "This place doesn't feel right." But Daniel, ever practical, smiled. "It's just an old house. We'll fix it up." They explored. Every room was larger than the last, with ceilings impossibly high. But each time they turned back to where they'd come from, the layout had changed. The hallway bent the wrong way. The staircase twisted into another landing. The living room was now upstairs. Emma clutched Daniel's arm. This house isn't normal. At night, they tried to sleep in one of the bedrooms. The floorboards creaked as though someone was pacing outside their room. But when Daniel checked, the hallway was empty. The next morning, Emma screamed. The bedroom door was gone. The wall where it had been was now solid plaster. They were trapped. Panic set in. Daniel pounded the wall with his fists, but the house only groaned as though amused. Emma searched for windows, but when she looked through them, she saw nothing but blackness, an endless void. The whispers started that night, low at first, curling through the halls like wind. "Stay! Stay!" Emma covered her ears. Daniel shouted into the dark. "What do you want from us?" The walls responded. They shifted. The rooms stretched longer, the ceiling lifted higher, and doors began to appear. Hundreds of them. Each one was identical. Each one beckoned. Emma, terrified, grabbed Daniel's hand. "Which one is real?" she whispered. Daniel picked one at random, yanked it open, and pulled her inside. But instead of escape, they found themselves back in the same room. The doors slammed shut behind them, all but one. From the last door, a figure stepped out. Tall, thin, its face featureless, smooth like wet clay. It moved without sound, drifting closer. Emma sobbed. "We shouldn't have come here. This place doesn't let people leave." The figure raised its hand and pointed at them. The walls shook, the floor split, and all the doors vanished. They were in a room with no exits, no doors, no hope. Days passed. Or maybe hours. Time meant nothing in the house. Emma and Daniel grew weaker, their voices hoarse from screaming. Until one morning, Emma opened her eyes and found herself alone. Daniel was gone. No sound, no trace. She stumbled to her feet, desperate, pounding on the walls with the last of her strength. And just as her fists went numb, a door appeared. Her eyes filled with tears. She pulled it open, but inside was not freedom. It was Daniel, or at least what was left of him. His skin pale, his eyes hollow, his mouth smiling too wide. He reached out his hand and whispered the same words the house had spoken since they arrived. "Stay, stay." and the door slammed shut behind her. The mansion still stands. No realtor claims it, no map shows it. But travelers swear that sometimes, on lonely country roads, they see a house where no house should be. A house with windows too clean. A house with no doors. And if you're unlucky enough to step inside, you'll never leave.